Being scared to death boils down to our autonomic response to a strong emotion, such as fear. For fear-induced deaths, the demise starts with our fight-or-flight response, which is the body's physical response to a perceived threat. This response is characterized by an increased heart rate, anxiety, perspiration, and increased blood glucose levels.
Scientists have identified the maximum mix of heat and humidity a human body can survive. Even a healthy young person will die after enduring 6 hours of 35 degrees Celsius warmth when coupled with 100% humidity. But new research shows that threshold could be significantly lower.
Ask bacteria where they'd like to live, and they'll answer, a kitchen sponge, please. Sponges are microbe paradises, capable of housing 54 billion bacteria per cubic centimeter. In addition to being damp, airy, and loaded with food scraps, sponges provide an optimal physical environment for bacteria. Researchers report February 10 in Nature Chemical Biology. Experiential purchases are also more associated with identity, connection, and social behavior. Looking back on purchases made, experiences make people happier than do possessions. It's kind of counter to the logic that if you pay for an experience like a vacation, it will be over and gone.
One of the strangest things about tickling is that it's pretty much impossible for a person to tickle himself or herself. The reason you can't tickle yourself is that when you move a part of your own body, a part of your brain monitors the movement and anticipates the sensations that it will cause. As oil becomes increasingly difficult to find, the search for it is extended into more hostile environments. The development of the oil field on the north slope of Alaska and the construction of the Alaska pipeline are examples of the great expense and difficulty involved in new oil discoveries.
In addition to exploring the possible antecedents of theater, scholars have also theorized about the motives that led people to develop theater. Why did theater develop, and why was it valued after it ceased to fulfill the function of ritual? Most answers fall back on the theories about the human mind and basic human needs.
You ought to know what to do to help a person who is choking. First, you stand behind the choking victim and put your arms around his or her waist. Second, you make a fist and place the thumb sided against the person's stomach just above the navel, but below the ribs.
A watershed stores rainwater once it filters through the soil. Once the watershed soils are saturated, water will either percolate deeper or run off the surface. This can result in freshwater aquifers and springs. Also, water moves through the soil to seeps and springs and is ultimately released into streams, rivers, and the ocean. The basic premise in the management of any system is the ability to minimize risk in the context of an ecosystem. One of the important questions is the integrity of the environment and how this integrity is compromised by management. With mismanagement in ecosystems, the risk of permanent damage to the environment is very high.